Have you ever been in the middle of what felt like a deep connection, only to suddenly feel like you don't exist anymore? No explanation, no fight, no goodbye, just silence. One day they were texting you constantly, calling you beautiful, making plans for the future. And the next day, nothing. No reply, no calls, no acknowledgement. And the silence becomes so loud that it starts to make you question everything. Did I do something wrong? Did they stop loving me? Did they find someone else? But here's the part most people don't understand. When a narcissist suddenly ignores you, the silence is not accidental. It's psychological. And once you understand why they do it, something inside you will finally start to make sense. If you've lived through this, you know exactly how confusing it feels. You replay conversations in your mind. You scroll through old messages, trying to find the moment everything changed. You start analyzing every word you said. Maybe you think, maybe I was too emotional. Maybe I asked for too much. Maybe I pushed them away. And the most painful part, you don't just miss them. You miss who they used to be in the beginning. The person who made you feel seen, special, chosen. And now, the same person acts like you're invisible. That emotional whiplash can be devastating because your brain is trying to understand something that doesn't follow normal emotional logic. And this is where the truth begins. Narcissists often use something called silent treatment. But it's more than just ignoring someone. It's a psychological control strategy. And here's why. A narcissist's sense of identity depends on something called narcissistic supply. That supply can be attention, admiration, validation, emotional reactions. When they first met you, you became a powerful source of that supply. Your love, your care, your emotional investment, it fed their sense of importance. But narcissistic relationships move through predictable phases. First, idealization. They shower you with attention. They make you feel like the most important person in the world. Then comes devaluation. Suddenly they criticize you, pull away, create confusion, and eventually, they may disappear emotionally, sometimes without any warning at all. And this is where the silence begins. But here's the part most people don't understand. The silence isn't always about punishment. Sometimes it's about power. When a narcissist ignores you, something very specific happens inside your brain. Your mind starts searching for answers. You become emotionally activated. You want closure. You want explanation. You want the connection back. And that emotional urgency, it gives them control, because the more confused you become, the more emotional energy you direct toward them. And for a narcissist, your emotional reaction is still a form of supply, even if they are not speaking to you. Take a moment and think about this. How many nights did you spend wondering why they suddenly became distant? How many times did you pick up your phone, hoping to see their name appear? How many times did you tell yourself, maybe tomorrow they'll message me? That waiting, that uncertainty, that emotional suspension between hope and heartbreak. It's one of the most painful experiences someone can go through, because silence creates something incredibly powerful in the human mind. Stories. Your brain tries to fill the gap, and usually, it fills that gap with self-blame. And this is why it hurts so much. The narcissist's silence often activates something called trauma bonding. Trauma bonding happens when intense emotional highs are mixed with emotional withdrawal or pain. Your brain becomes addicted to the cycle. Love, distance, hope, rejection. When the narcissist suddenly goes silent, your brain doesn't just feel sad. It goes into withdrawal. just like someone craving something they suddenly lost. You miss the attention, the affection, the emotional intensity, even if the relationship was hurting you. This is why so many intelligent, strong, self-aware women find themselves thinking, why do I still care? Why do I still miss them? The answer is not weakness, it's neurobiology. And this is where the confusion becomes even deeper. Because the silence doesn't only create pain, it creates hope. Hope that maybe they will come back. Hope that maybe they just need time. Hope that maybe you misunderstood something. And that hope can keep someone emotionally trapped for far longer than they ever expected. You may tell yourself maybe they are just stressed. Maybe something happened in their life. Maybe they need space. So you wait. You give them the benefit of the doubt. You protect the image of the person you believed they were. But here's the painful truth many survivors eventually discover. The silence is rarely about needing space. It is often about maintaining emotional control without responsibility. Because when someone refuses to communicate, something subtle begins to happen. The emotional burden shifts. Instead of questioning their behavior, you begin questioning yourself. And that internal shift can be incredibly powerful. Suddenly, you are the one trying harder. You are the one trying to fix the connection. You are the one carrying the emotional weight of a relationship that was never balanced to begin with. And this is why the silent treatment can feel so destabilizing. It slowly erodes your sense of certainty, your sense of reality, even your sense of self. But here's something deeply important to remember. Healthy love does not make you feel like you are walking on emotional quicksand. Healthy love does not disappear when communication becomes necessary. Healthy love does not create silence as a weapon. And once you begin to recognize that, the silence starts losing its power over you. But something important begins to change the moment you see the pattern. When you understand that the silence was never about your worth. It wasn't because you were too emotional. It wasn't because you loved too deeply. And it wasn't because you weren't enough. In many cases, the silence begins when the narcissist senses something dangerous to them. Your awareness, your boundaries, your emotional independence. Because the moment you stop chasing their approval, their control starts to weaken. And control is the currency narcissists value most. There is another truth many people don't talk about. Sometimes narcissists disappear because they are already focused on a new source of supply. Another person, another audience, another mirror reflecting the admiration they crave. And instead of ending things honestly, they fade away. They leave you with silence. Because silence allows them to avoid responsibility. But more importantly, it keeps the door psychologically open so that one day they can return. Think about this for a moment. If someone truly valued your heart, would they disappear without explanation? Would they leave you drowning in confusion? Would they make you question your own reality? Or would they communicate? Would they care about how their actions affect you? Sometimes the most painful answers are also the most freeing ones. The silence that once felt like rejection can become something else entirely, clarity. Because the way someone handles distance reveals who they truly are. Not their words, not their promises, their actions. Healthy love does not create emotional chaos. Healthy love does not punish vulnerability. Healthy love does not disappear when things become real. And if someone's silence made you question your worth, remember this. Your worth was never in their hands. It never was. You were always valuable. You were always deserving of respect. You were always worthy of a love that feels safe. Healing from narcissistic silence takes time, Because you're not only healing from the person, you're healing from the emotional addiction to the cycle. But slowly, something powerful begins to happen. You stop checking your phone as often. You stop replaying the past conversations. You start reconnecting with parts of yourself that were lost inside that relationship. Your voice, your boundaries, your peace. And one day, you realize something surprising. The silence that once felt unbearable no longer controls your emotions. And that moment, that is the beginning of your freedom. If a narcissist suddenly ignored you, it was never because you were insignificant. It was because their version of love was never built on empathy. It was built on control. But your story does not end in confusion. It does not end in abandonment. And it definitely does not end in silence. Because every day you choose healing, you reclaim a little more of yourself. And the truth is, the right people will never make you feel invisible. The right people will never make you beg for basic respect. The right people will never disappear when your heart is open. They will stay, they will communicate, they will care. And that kind of love is the kind your future deserves. If this video helped you understand something you've been carrying for a long time, consider subscribing to the channel. Here, we talk openly about narcissistic relationships, trauma bonds, and the path to emotional recovery. Because understanding what happened to you is often the first step toward finally becoming free from it. And remember, you survived the relationship. Here, we help you survive it too.